situation. So I think it's understandable, and for both parties, I think one of them will be the sadder one, which is going to be the player, and I believe Remo Stars know what they've done with this decision that they made so far.
Okay, Ekpo. Super Eagles Team B, the Chan Eagles, have been eliminated from the 2024 African Nations Championship after what looks like an unpredictable scoreline. 4-0 defeat by Sudan. Yes, Sudan beating Nigeria by 4-0. Most of Nigerians are heartbroken yesterday when this result trickled in. What could have happened? This is the second game they are losing in Zanzibar, Tanzania.
No, but if you follow the team keenly, any of our national team that goes out to represent us, you look at the level of preparations. Yes, someone will argue that the Tigers just had 1 week to prepare, and so that was why they didn't do well. But then you know that these girls are all international players, and so they came with a wealth of experience and personal skills, just a little blending because they already know themselves, so it was easier. These some best players, they have been playing under the tutelage of Coach Eric Chair for some time, camped in Remo Stars, just preparing. They had a lot of games, and then too, I think that the biggest undoing was the fact that some players who qualified them, some of them they've gone abroad now. Some of them have left the scene, and by that they were disqualified from not participating in this one. So I think that also did not also help her, because these new entrants that came in barely few weeks to, they were just imputed, to be part to replace those ones, and that seems to be another challenge that we had. And then generally too, we have always had the issue of defensive framework. Our defense is very porous. We had some tested games, and it becomes a big challenge. We play some games that unknown teams that we can't even win them. So I think that it's a wake-up call to know that we do not have the talents again. You want to argue that, Nigeria, no, but we need to tell ourselves the truth. Sudan is the big names, etc. All those names. In fact, they are the teams who function very well in the CAF Champions League and CAF Continental Games. So I am not surprised. Sudan, North African teams, and Egyptian teams. So for me, I think that we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to begin to generate talent, because the ones we have here, they're either thinking of leaving the shores of Nigeria, or so it's a total revolution altogether. But I don't want to blame tactical ineptitude of Eric Chair. I don't want to do that. I just want to believe that we are yet to understand that we need to groom fresh young legs from the league. And the league is a replica of what happened at the national scene.
Well, Kelechi, you heard what Ekpo said there, but let's look at this angle of it. This is the second time consecutively that the Super Eagles Team B have had to crash out from this local, African Cup of Nations, meant for players on the local scene here. But the man of the field this time around looks very heavy. But like Ekpo did allude there, he doesn't want to blame the tactical approach of the coaches. In the last edition, in the edition before this, it was under the leadership or the coaching expertise of a local coach. In this edition, it's under the leadership of a foreign coach. And something really striking happened last night. Kwesi Appiah, the coach of Sudan side, of course, Kwesi Appiah, knowing him as a Ghanaian, he's come out to say that the Super Eagles lack better coaching. That looks very striking. Is it aiming at a foreign coach, or is actually describing the typical situation of the Nigerian coaching prowess, that the Super Eagles Team B lacks better coaching and not maybe the quality of the players?
I think I'm looking into what the Ghanaian coach has actually said, because he said Nigeria needs better coaching, and it's not just for Eric Chair, but Ekpo doesn't want to blame the coach's ineptitude. But I think if you want to look at it in a way, the coach has in his fault in this particular loss. In losing 4-0 is unacceptable to Sudan by all standards, and if perhaps better coaching, I believe they would have done better. And so if you want to look at the previous edition and this edition combined, it's due to also lack of a good coach. We don't have the coach to train some of these young lads in competitions like this, and we can look into it. Richard is not really a terrible coach in all sense, but he doesn't know how to get his act right just in time for competitions like this. And if we look into it, he has to take a huge chunk of the blame, and not just him. Nigeria needs to get right when it comes to coaching, especially in positions like this.
Okay, let's continue on the show, and I just hope that we'll take stock on why Nigeria crashed out for the second time consecutively at the local, let's say, African Cup of Nations for players on the local scene. It's disturbing. We really have to show our quality. Ekpo, in just 1 minute or so, because we have to wrap up on this one. How do you compare Nigerian football to Sudanese football on the local scene?
No, we don't have bad players. That's the truth. We don't also have bad coaches. I tell you, maybe something would have been different if Ilechiku, the combination of Ilechiku and maybe Remo Stars coach were given the opportunity to coach this team. Maybe, just maybe. Because for me, I do not subscribe to Eric Chell, the head coach of the Super Eagles, manning the affairs of this level or this Super Eagle B. No, I don't. A lot of person feels that will help to blend, you know, to blend the team and the other ones, the ones from abroad. But I don't think that's it works perfectly for us. Over time, we've seen that you can get the home-based coaches who play with these players week in, week out. Somehow they know these players very well. They know their strength and they can decipher. So I agree that yes, if we had used those coaches, maybe they understand how to use these players in the league better. Another thing is that we need to tell ourselves the truth. We have derailed in terms of talent nurturing. You might have discovered talents, but nurturing this talent becomes another challenge altogether. We need to go back to the drawing board. The Sudanese league, when it comes to its league on its own, they are a little bit stable. They're a little bit stable. No matter how we think about it, they may not be there at this level because they've not been competing. Some of their teams are not, competing highly with the North African teams in recent time. But they have a very formidable league. And this, when it comes to the African continent, at the home-based level, they are strong enough. So you don't take them for granted. But for us, I think that what has cost us is a mixture of a lot of things. And I just believe that it's a wake-up call. I don't want us to dwell more on the lapses. I want us to go back and see that, but just barely 2 years ago, that we started having a stable league. All those things matters a lot. And I think that's a gradual process. Maybe in the next 2 years, we would have groomed home-based players that can represent us at that level. It is good that we have seen the lapses. We'll go back to the drawing board and then we'll try to see if we can get it right. But for me, I don't want us to dwell more on the challenges of the players and the coaches in the tournament. Let's go back and look at what we can do to get our future right.
Okay, now let's...